fishing news is brought to you by Okuma.
Hi there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman Magazine with this week's web video, Fishing Forecast for New England. Well, a lot of people have this week between Christmas and New Year's off from work, and hopefully you're in this group. Because if so, despite the cold weather that we've got going on this week, there's some solid fishing options to be had. But before we get into that, I'd like to let you know that the January issue of the Fisherman Magazine is out right now. And it's our annual boat and motor buyer's guide. Now we've got coverage of more than 45 of the top boat and motor manufacturers on the market, outlining the latest and greatest from each of them. You can either check out the guide in print this month or for free online at thefisherman.com. And also in the local section of the magazine, we have coverage on targeting winter cod, building a rod rack storage system for your home, winter travel down to the Florida Keys, which sounds like an awesome idea this week, as well as the announcement of the 2017 Dreamboat Challenge winner, so be sure to check it all out. All right, moving on into the reports forecast. We're going to start off, as always, in Connecticut, where holdover striped bass action remains pretty good. Some solid bass have been landed by anglers out seeking their Christmas fish. For instance, Jadach of Bobby J's got into a solid bite of fish on Christmas night with fish into the 20-pound class and even one eclipsing the 30-pound mark. So there's some big fish around there. At least they were moving prior to this big cold snap. A lot of times this harsh cold that we have turns those bigger fish off, but it's still worth poking around to see just what you can find. On the ice fishing side of things, I've seen some posts on Facebook from a few of my friends here in Connecticut finding some hard water, but I'm really hesitant just yet to recommend anywhere that might be safe enough to fish just yet. You know, even though it's really cold out the last couple of days, it does not mean that we've got vast, safe ice everywhere. But we should see a bit more fishable ice by the weekend. Still, though, I want you to keep in mind that the general recommendation for minimum ice thickness for ice fishing is 4 inches of new clear ice. Now, this is for an individual angler, not really packing a ton of gear, standing in groups. If you start doing that, you bring a lot of stuff with you. Be sure you've got even more ice. And as always, throughout the entire ice fishing season, be sure to exercise extreme caution when making your way around any frozen water body. All right, moving on over into Rhode Island. Mixed bag fishing off of Block Island remains very good. I actually was just out on the Black Hawk on Friday, sailing out of Stonington. We were right out there with the Francis Fleet, the 7Bs, Island Current, all those guys basically set up in the same general area. And while we didn't find the numbers of cod that we all wanted, the black sea bass, porgies, ling, and other bottom fish more than made up for things. The pool winning cod for the day was just shy of 20 pounds, and there were several other similar sized cod landed to battle out for top honors on the day. So there was some good cod to be had. Unfortunately, I didn't connect with any, but hey, that's the way it is. But speaking of the other bottom dwellers landed, at the recommendation of one of my fellow anglers on the boat for the day, I tried some new to me fillets. On my first drop, I landed a very large choggy. They're also referred to as cunner, ocean perch, or burgle. And I proceeded to keep around a dozen of the largest ones that I landed on the day. They produced some excellent white fillets that were very similar to blackfish in both taste and consistency. And I proceeded to turn those fillets into 2 excellent fish pies for a holiday gathering that I had over the weekend, and I gotta say, they were the hottest menu items, so they're well worth giving a shot if you catch some this winter, and you can expect some coverage on this subject from me in the future. And lastly, up in Massachusetts and north of Mass up into Vermont, New Hampshire, there's plenty of ice forming with some small patches of safe and fishable hard water as you move more to the north and west, but for those anglers unable to find a locked up lake, you can still do well on trout in those open water spots. Customer of Fishing Fanatics landed a massive brown on Sunday at an undisclosed local spot, and many of the other lakes that received a shot of fall trout are producing some really good catches right now. All right, well, there you have it. I am Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman Magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.